Erev Tov, everyone. Erev Tov. It is Monday night. It is 8 p.m. here on the east side of the United States, here in the diaspora. This is the Maimon Beit Knesset. Therefore, it must be Zeyde Story Corner. That's right, Zeyde Story Corner. And we are quickly coming to the end of the Sephardic stories. Yeah, quicker than I thought. Yeah. Lots of stories, a lot of great stories, and unfortunately, we're kind of running out. So we're on to the short ones and the short, funny ones. So let's see who we have in the chat room. We have, let's see, we have Ronald, Yehuda, Simcha, Donald, and Richard so far. And more to come. Yeah, more to come. So you went to the eye doctor? Yes, I did go to the eye doctor today. And yeah, I am going to have some cataract surgery and get my eyes fixed and stuff. And yeah, I was kind of worried if we were going to be able to do the show tonight because they put drops in your eyes and it was really hard to read anything all day, but it seems to have cleared up now. So we shall see. Yes, we shall see. So we should probably get to it then. Let's get you onto your camera here. There I am. Okay. So again, we are going to continue on with the stories from the Sephardic world. And this one is called A Porter Saves Maimonides. Okay, and it is the Maimonides that you are thinking of. Yes, okay, so let us go on with the story now. Okay. One day, the wife of a needy porter went to the bathhouse. By chance, Maimonides' wife was also there. All the bathhouse workers treated her with great respect, as they should. That's right, they should, yeah. One ran to pour water on her, another brought her water, but no one paid any attention to the porter's wife. This made her very upset and envious of the respect shown to Maimonides' wife. She decided that she wanted them to show her respect too. Her husband should become a physician. Now that is a strange switch in careers, from a porter to a physician. Yeah, that is kind of odd. You don't see that much anymore, do you? No, actually you do not anyway. So let's get back to the story, shall we? Yes, okay. So she went home and told him, either you become a physician or don't come home again. What happened? What's the matter? Asked her husband in astonishment. I would be astonished too. Yeah, I bet you would be. She told him about the great respect shown Maimonides' wife. She too wanted to be a physician's wife. When her husband realized that Maimonides was the source of his problem, he decided to go ask his advice. When the latter heard the porter's story, he said, all right, it's a simple matter. I'll give you slips of paper. When you visit a sick person, give him a slip for some medicine. Whoever is going to get better anyway will get better, and whoever was going to die will die. The porter took the slips of paper and traveled through the villages. He was very successful. Everyone called him in as a good doctor. 2 years passed in this fashion. When he used up the last slip, he decided to go back and ask Maimonides for more. He went back to his hometown and found an uncommon silence there. "What's wrong?" he asked. They told him sadly that Maimonides was dying. Oh my goodness. He was eating a fried sole and a large bone got stuck in his throat. It won't budge. The porter raced to help Maimonides. He wanted to show off his experience. He told Maimonides' wife, "Hurry, hurry, bring me cupping glasses." She was astonished. "What do you need cupping glasses for?" "I'm going to put one on the sole of his foot." When Maimonides heard this, he burst out laughing and the bone popped right out of his throat. And that's how the porter saved Maimonides. Okay. So, I see Ethan has joined us. I remember the awesome banana. Okay, so much for the porter that saved Maimonides. What do you know? Okay. I think that guy studied from the same doctor that I go to. You think so, huh? It must be. I mean, yeah, okay. So let's go on to the next story, which is called something or other. No, it's not called something or other. It's called It's called Blinder Than a Blind Man. Okay, so you have to know the little bit about these stories here. Most of these stories involve a person called Joa, and he is kind of shall we say, a Shlemiel or Shlemazel. Yeah, Shlemazel. Yeah, much better a Shlemazel. Okay. So, and he's kind of, we did these stories before of the silly village of Helm, and this guy seems to be maybe the president of Helm. So anyway, in the Sephardic world, he's called a Jua. Okay, so once they wanted to prove that Jua really had no luck at all. They wanted to test him. What did they do? They took a bag full of gold and put it on the stairs where Husham or Joam had to pass on his way back from religious school. He went to school, and on his way home he passed by these stairs every single day. When they hid to see what would happen, would he see the treasure and take it? It just wasn't possible that he would miss it. It was a bag, a large bag full of gold, sitting right there on these steps, halfway down the flight of stairs. Nobody who went down those stairs could possibly miss seeing the bag. Okay, so they hid. It was about time for Joel to be finishing religious school. They followed his movements and watched. Down, down, down he went. Fine, there. He had almost reached the treasure. Suddenly, he stopped, closed his eyes, and descended the rest of the stairs with his eyes shut tightly. "What's this?" his friends exclaimed to one another. "What's going on here?" Just when he should have noticed the treasure, he closes his eyes and went down the stairs without looking. Let's go ask him what happened. Joa, come here. What is it? Tell us something. You started so well when you were going down the stairs with your eyes wide open. Why in the world did you close them when you did? Oh, he said, don't ask. Yesterday I was reading a story about blind people, about how difficult it is for them to get around. I don't know how they manage. It's just terrible. I wanted to have an idea of how it's possible to manage when your eyes can't see. So, halfway down the stairs, I suddenly got the idea of trying out how blind people go down steps without being able to see. I closed my eyes, and what can I tell you? It was really difficult. Now I can share the pain of blind people. You ass, they said. You really are blind. I'm blind? And how you're blinder than a blind person? Why do you say that? Asked Joa. Why? Come, look what we put on the steps. We put the treasure there. If you had come down with your eyes open, you would have found the treasure. You could have been the richest man in the world. But what did you do? Just at the moment when you had a whim to close your eyes. Now we understand what they say about you. You really have no luck at all. Oh, poor Joa. Oh, my. Poor guy. Okay, let's see what other crazy things Joa gets up to. Okay, this next story is called A General that's an explanation of the Joa. Well, I think we got time. Let's read about Joa. Okay, so Joa is a popular buffoon figure of many colors, a numbskull, a naive fool, a trickster, a comic who satirizes people in power, and an idiot whose literal logic exposes the ambiguities of the language. His are stories of apparent stupidity, which gets the better of a brain or brawn, quick wit, which saves face, humor that overcomes sorrow, naivete, which hinders a deep philosophical life. A wide range of his attributes represent historical development, religious variation, selected documentation, and the use of anecdotes for deliberate purposes. Whew! Joa is primarily a humorous figure in the jokes and proverbs of Judeo-Spain oral tradition. So there you have. Now you know more about Joa. Okay, so let's find out what else Joa is up to. Okay. It's a lot of notes on Joa, isn't there? Yes, there is. More than you would expect. Yeah, a lot more than you would expect. Almost there. Okay, this is a good one. Okay, he is called Joa Helps His Mother. One day, Joa's mother found herself in big trouble. She had many guests coming to her pantry, and her pantry was short of several items. What could she do? All right, she said, maybe, all the same, maybe just once I can rely on my clever son. Joa, she called. Yes, mother. Come here. Are you willing to help me? Why not? I'm always willing to help you. I want you to go to the market and bring me a sack of flour. I've got a lot of guests coming, and I have to bake bread and cakes and all sorts of things. All right, mother. What else do you need? Meat. 3 kilos of meat. You know what I need, lots of pins to fix the covers on the couches. So bring me a package of pins. Is that all, mother? Is that list such a problem? But Joa, do it quickly. Don't fall asleep or wander around the market and then come back in the evening when the guests are already here. Oh, no, mother. I promise I'll do it right away. He really ran to the market and bought a sack of flour, 3 kilos of meat, and a large box of pins. Now, his mother wanted all super express in a hurry. Oh, he said, I've got an idea. A dog was just passing by then, a big dog. He gave him the address. Go to my mother and give her the meat. Do it pronto. The dog grabbed the meat and ran off as fast as he could. Now that I've already solved the problem of the meat, said Joa, what should I do with the flour? It's a large sack of flour, and it will be a bit difficult to get home. Oh, look, the wind! Wonderful! He took the sack, hoisted it up on his back, climbed to the roof, opened the sack, and whoosh! The wind began to blow the flour away. Now, isn't that a brilliant idea of mine? Where would I find a porter for a single sack of flour? It would be very hard. This way, the wind is blowing it and doing the job quickly. The question of the pins remained. For the pins, I'll get some porters. He called over several porters and told them to turn around. You know that porters wear a sort of saddle on their backs. He stuck a few pins in each saddle. Then he gave them the address. But get there quickly, because my mother is in a very big hurry. And that was that. Half an hour later, walking slowly, he arrived home, quite pleased with himself. He had done his job and helped his mother. In the meantime, his mother heard a voice from the street. Mrs. Bulisa, Mrs. Bulisa. He must have sent me the goods with this fellow, she thought. What is it? She called. Have you brought me my goods? Yes. Where are they? She looked. The porters had nothing in their arms. Then they all turned around. Look, there they are. Pull them out. Pull what out? The pins! Your son gave us these pins to bring to you. She went berserk. Soon Jua arrived home. No, mother, did the porters show up? The porters showed up. Where's the flour? And did they bring you the pins? They brought the pins, but what about the flour and the meat? What? They never arrived? Who was supposed to bring them? Other porters? No. You mean the dog didn't show up with the meat? I gave it to him to bring it here more quickly than I could, and the wind didn't bring you the flour? Jua's mother almost passed out. Holding her head, she wailed and howled, "What will be with my son? When will he ever get any sense into that head of his?" Well, you know, my mother used to say the same thing about me. Oh, I don't think your mother really... No, she really did. There was times that she would say, "Oh, my goodness, well, what will become of him? Will he ever get any sense at all?" And look where you are today. Reading stories to children. Yes. Okay, so anyway, let us go on with the next story. This one is called Jua's Face. In the days when there were kings of the Turks, of Iraq, of Baghdad, and Persia, they always had a Jua nearby, since he was the royal jester. Even if the king... Oh, this is a good story. You young boys are going to like this one. I guarantee it. Okay, so anyway, even if the king was in a bad mood and didn't want anyone talking to him, Jua was there with him. Once Jua came in and saw the king was in a rage. "What's the matter, your majesty?" he asked. "By my life, Jua, get away from here. I don't want to see your face." "All right. He doesn't want to see my face. All right." Jua went into the courtyard. The king was still inside, but he would have to pass through the corridor when he left. Jua took off his pants, his underpants, everything. Then he laid his hands on the floor and stuck his bottom up in the air. When the king passed by, he saw his bottom floating there and began to scream, "What are you doing, showing me your backside?" "You said you didn't want to see my face, so look at my fanny." The king laughed, his mood restored. Okay, how about that? How was that for a story, huh? Okay. So we are at our halfway point now. Well, almost to our halfway point. And we are going to take our break. And when we return, we will find out more about the misadventures of Jua. So please stay tuned.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
It's intermission time, folks, so hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof. Enjoy breathtaking, mouth-watering goodies, everything from a snack to a delicious full meal. At our refreshment center, you'll find a large variety of goodies to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, or your sweet tooth. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Visit our refreshment center now. The show starts in 5 minutes. The show starts in 4 minutes. The show starts in 3 minutes. The show starts in 2 minutes. The show starts in 1 minute. And now, on with the show.
And we are back. Okay, so let's find out more about Jua. Okay, so. Okay. So this one is called. No, that's not it. You forgot to scroll it up. Yeah, I know I did forget. Okay, so here we go. Now we're on the next story, which is called Why Jua Never Got Married. Now, I know you're all wondering about this, so let's find out why Jua never got married. They tell about Jua that's Hasham, who's called Jua in Spanish. They call him Husham Jua. There are lots of stories about Jua. One of the stories is about how he never managed to get married. Why didn't he manage to get married? He really wanted to, but somehow it just never worked out. Why? Because every time they suggested a young lady to him, he would do something foolish, and the young woman would realize that he wasn't very bright, that he wasn't to her taste, and she would pass up the offer. Anyway, one day he met a matchmaker. I really do want to get married, he told her. Perhaps you could give me some advice. How can I please the young woman you fixed me up with? The matchmaker thought and finally came up with an answer. You know, Joa, I have a very fine young woman for you. I suggest we go together and meet her, as if I had just bumped into you in the street and you had tagged along with me. But listen to my advice. When the young woman comes in, she'll be shy and sit in the corner. So from time to time, you should cast an eye at her. What do you mean, cast an eye at her? That's really a good idea, casting an eye? They set a day. They set a time. And a place to meet. Before then, thought Joa, went to the market, since he needed a supply of eyes to cast at her. One eye wouldn't be enough. He went to the butcher and asked for some cow's eyes. Oh, replied the butcher, they slaughtered a lot of cows today. I've got a lot of eyes today. Give me a few. How many is a few? How many do you want? Oh, give me a dozen eyes. All right. The butcher put 12 eyes in a bag for him, and Jua paid for them. On the appointed day, he took the bag. He didn't forget it. He didn't forget it at home and met the matchmaker. They entered the house where the father greeted them warmly. He saw that the lad wasn't bad looking. True, it was Joa, but not a bad fellow. After they had sat and talked for a while, he asked his daughter to bring the matchmaker and the young man something to drink. The daughter came over with her tray and served them. She was the picture of shyness, serving Joa his drink and then sitting back down in the corner. Joa didn't look at her. but he held on to his bag, and every so often he would take out an eye and cast it at her. Aye, the young woman was frightened. What was he throwing at her? He giggled looking at her. He felt uncomfortable looking at a young woman, but he took out another eye and cast it at her, and then another, and then another, until he had gone through all 12 eyes. The young woman was in a panic. Her father couldn't understand what he was doing. Was the fellow crazy or what? He took the matchmaker aside. By your life, tell me, is this man all there in the head? He was certainly all right when we got here. I don't know what happened to him. I'll have a talk with him. I see you brought a fellow who's not worth a penny, replied the father. And what is more, he's a little tra-la-la crazy in the head. Don't bring me any more young men like that. And he threw the matchmaker and Jua out of the house. Did he take the eyes? I don't know. Let's find out. When they were outside, the matchmaker turned to Jua. Oh, Jua, there's a reason they say you never managed to get married. And never will. Look at what you did to me today. Didn't you tell me to cast an eye at her from time to time? That's exactly what I was doing. Oh, you prince of fools. I meant cast a glance, not throw cow's eyes at her. And Jua blew another chance to get married. Ah. Oh, my goodness. I wonder how much a pound of cow's eyes runs. I wouldn't have any idea in the world what a dozen cow's eyes would, or what a pound of cow's eyes would cost. And that must have been pretty cheap, though. Yeah, I would say they probably did. He didn't make a lot of money. Yes, yeah, we can pretty much be assured that he didn't make a lot of money. So the cow's eyes must be pretty cheap, huh? Yeah, I would have to agree with you. They're probably pretty cheap. Okay. So, next time you go to the butcher, find out. Find out for me how much a pound of cow's eyes costs. Okay. So, anyway, we go on to our next story, huh? Jua plays dead. Jua was the royal jester. Well, at least there's a job that was fitting for him, huh? Okay, so anyway, one day he went to the king. Your Majesty, he told him, my wife has died and I need money to bury her. Oh, said the king, how? When did she die? She died. Take a sack of gold, the king told him, and go quickly bury your wife. Jua's wife went to the... Wait a minute. Didn't we just read a story about Jua could never get married? Did I miss that? No, you're right. That was the story that we had. And here it says he had a wife. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Oh, my goodness. Well, evidently these things don't happen in order. Okay, anyway, so Jua's wife went to the queen. Your Majesty, she said to her tearfully, What has happened? My husband has died, and I have no money to bury him. Odio, when did he die? I don't know when he died. Give me money so I can bury him. All right. The queen gave her a sack of gold, and she went home. Jua and his wife bought 2 large mats. He lay on top of one mat and rolled it up around him, while she did the same with the other mat. Both of them stretched out their bodies inside the mats. The king said to the queen, "Let's go visit Jua. His wife has died." Jua came to me, and I gave him money so he could bury her. "What are you talking about?" replied the queen. "Jua's wife came to me to get the money from me. It's Jua who's dead." "Oh, no, it's Jua's wife who died." "Let's go see who died first." The king and the queen started for Jua's house to see who had died first. Jua came to me and said that his wife had died. She came to you and said that her husband died. Let's go see who really died. The king and the queen went to Jua's house. They opened the door and found both of them lying dead, wrapped up in mats. The king turned to the queen. "Who died first?" he asked her. "Jua or his wife?" The two of them jumped to their feet, both shouting, Me, I died first." Okay. Oh, my goodness. Okay, this is a good one. Okay, you're going to like this one. This one is called Camel Seeds. So, I'll give you just a moment to let that sink in. Camel seeds. Okay, so let's find out. Late one afternoon, Jua strolled down to the spice market in the old city. There he saw a fellow carrying a large tray, but without the rolls. Only the sesame seeds that had fallen off the rolls were left. "What are you selling?" asked Jua. "I'm not selling anything." "But perhaps, all the same, you do have something there. What are you selling?" The vendor got angry. "What, these? These are camel seeds." "Really? Do you mean that I can take these seeds and plant them, and camels will grow?" Oh, and what camels you'll grow! By your life, sell me some." The vendor thought Jua was crazy. He took a paper bag, put a few sesame seeds in it, and sold them to Jua for a good price. "Now, what do I do with them?" asked Jua. How does one use them?" "Look, you have to go out to an empty field, plant them, and go to sleep. By morning, a whole herd of camels will grow there." Thank you, Jua paid the vendor his full price and set off. Evening had come around, and it was getting dark. Jua started looking for a field. Going out of the city, he found an arid and desolate field. "This should be a good place for growing camels," he thought. He fixed himself up a small tent, sowed the seeds around the tent, and went to sleep. Now, during the night, a band of Bedouin came, leading a caravan of camels. Evidently, they were worn out by their long trek along the desert and decided to bed down in the field. They got the camels to kneel. They dismounted, tied them up, and went to sleep. In the morning, at first light, Jua woke up and rubbed his eyes. Heaven help us! What did he see? A field full of camels. The merchant hadn't bamboozled him. There were real live camels in the field. Joah stood up beside himself with joy, took a rope, and tied one camel to the next. Yalla, he started off, leading the entire stream. The Bedouin were still asleep. The noise startled one of them out of his slumber. What did he see? There was Joah leading off the entire string of camels. "Hey, mister," the Bedouin called after him. "What do you think you are doing?" "Why, what do you want?" "The camels." "Yes, they sprouted during the night, as you see." "What do you mean, sprouted during the night? Those are our camels." "Can't be. It's not possible. I bought seeds in the spice market for 25 grosh. The fellow told me to plant them and they would grow overnight, and that's just what I did." "Is the man crazy or something?" wondered the Bedouin. They all started running after him and yelling, trying to pull the camels away. After a while, they realized they were dealing with a madman. "All right," they told him, "let's go to the Qadi." That's a judge. "He'll decide if the camels are yours, whether they sprouted in this field or whether there are camels." "That's fine with me," said Joah. He went to the Qadi. The Qadi was sitting outside of his nargale, wearing broad pants, his legs spread open, and, oh my goodness, forgive me, you could see everything. Joah looked and turned bright red. He gestured to the Qadi with both hands, cupping them together, trying to hint that it wasn't nice to sit that way. But the Qadi understood that Joah was promising him a handsome bribe. He was showing him 2 hands. So he smiled at Joah. "Yes," he said, "what's the problem?" The Bedouin told their story. "We arrived during the night. We had been in the desert. We came and wanted to rest our camels that were worn out. We lay down. In the morning, this man came and took our camels. He says they sprouted overnight in a field. Can camels grow in a field?" they asked the Qadi. The Qadi looked at Joah. "What do you have to say?" "What can I tell you, Your Honor? I was in the spice market and bought these seeds. The fellow told me they were camel seeds. I planted them last night, and by morning they had sprouted." "You're absolutely right," exclaimed the Qadi. The Bedouin looked at one another in shock. Was the Qadi mad too? "Your Honor, can camels sprout in a field?" "Yes, in this case, that's precisely what they did." The poor wretches, the Qadi growled at them. "Get out of here now and don't bother me anymore. This man planted camels, and they sprouted there in the field." The wretched Bedouin didn't know what to think. Whining and wailing, they started to leave the court. The Qadi chased them out. When they had gone, the Qadi came over to Joah. "All right, Joah, where's what you promised me?" "Your Honor, what did I promise you?" "When you came in, didn't you promise me with your 2 hands that you'd give me a lot of money if I ruled in your favor?" "Oh, I'm very sorry," said Joah. "I didn't mean that. I was simply wanted to prevent immodesty." Immodesty? Yes, Your Honor was sitting in a way that was positively indecent. The Cadi flew into a rage, kicked the Jew and threw him out. You cheating scoundrel, you hoodwinked me. I wouldn't have ruled in your favor if I had known you wouldn't give me a bribe or something. The Cadi threw Jua out, but Jua was happy. He didn't have money to pay the Cadi, but he was happy. He took the camels and went home. Mother, he said, come see what I have brought you. Oh, here's Jua driving me to the distraction again, said his mother. What have you brought me this time, Jua? Look at how many camels I have brought you. Jua, you stole those camels? No, on my honor, no, mother. Don't you know? I planted them and they sprouted in the field. Oh, my crazy one. Who knows what really did happen this time? And there you go. He becomes rich. He has a lot of camels. I hope he saved some of the seeds so he could plant some more camels, huh? Okay, one more story. It's a short one, and it's pretty kind of good. Okay, so this one is called Jua Counts the Donkeys. Okay, sounds simple enough. Okay. Once there was a certain Jua. This Jua had 10 little donkeys. Every time he counted them, he got to 10. Okay, pretty good so far, eh? Okay, once when he was riding one of the donkeys, he counted them again. This time, there were only 9 donkeys. How can this be, wondered Jua. In the past, whenever I counted, I had 10 donkeys. Why do I only have 9 now? He climbed off the donkey and counted again. There were 10 of them. When he mounted the donkey again, he counted them 9. And so it went. He kept counting. Now there were 10, and then only 9. Finally, a man passed by. Jua, why are you so lost in thought? He asked. I can't figure out what kind of donkeys I've got. When I'm riding, there are 9. But when I get down, there are always 10 of them. One donkey is riding another, quipped the man. All told, there are 11 donkeys, not 10. Why aren't you counting the ass beneath yours? You know, answered Jua, it never occurred to me that there was another donkey underneath me. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, that's going to do it for tonight. Oh my goodness. Next time, we will hear more about Juas and mules, and maybe some camels, and so on and so forth. Okay, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Don't forget, tomorrow night is the Rabbis Discuss with Rabbi Ariel and Rabbi Anshel. And this is going to be the 5th in the series on the Bahir. And then on Wednesday night is the Parsha study of the week. Friday night is the Kabbalat and Ma'ariv Shabbat service. And on Shabbat morning at 10 a.m. is Shakrit and Musaf. And then, well, I don't know. Next week is Purim. So We'll have to see. Maybe we have a story time, and maybe not. You have to stay tuned and find out. Okay. Well, thank everybody for being here. Until the next time, my dear friends, we say Laila Tov.